I don't shave that all the time. That would be so much work. I don't do that anymore. I used to do that, but just too much going on these days. Good morning, guys. It is Monday. I'm filming this before it will come out tomorrow. Oh, camera's already almost dead. I just wanted to show you guys my fit today because I'm feeling like it's cute. These shorts are from Gonda, from it's an Australian brand we found when we went to Australia like a year and a half ago. And this shirt is from Free People, but it's from Nuuly. So I didn't buy it. I just rented it, which has been kind of fun. I needed a dress for Christmas photos, that Christmas photo dress, if you saw those pictures on Instagram, that I needed. And I didn't want to buy one because I knew I probably wasn't gonna wear it that much, but I wanted a really cute one. And so I was like, I can either do Nuuly, which is $80 a month, or I can buy a $200 dress. So it made more sense to just start Nuuly. And now I've become addicted. It's pretty fun. So you pick out 6 items a month, and then you and they're all super cute, Free People, Anthro, Urban, and then you wear them for the month, and then you send back everything at the end of the month. Unless you want to buy it, then you have the option to buy it. Today I thought it'd be fun. I've been seeing this video trending going around called Big Sister Q&A, and I thought it would be fun to do it. So I don't have a big sister. I am not a big sister. I don't have any sisters, but I wish I did. So I thought it would be super fun to do a video like this for all the gals out there. Just a disclaimer to the boys, if you are starting to watch this, might not want to, might be super girly, might be lots to talk about girl stuff, you know. So welcome to the Big Sister Q&A. So I just went through the questions. I asked you guys a bunch of, I asked you guys to send in questions on Instagram, and I've just been going through them, and there's so many good ones on here. I almost don't feel qualified to be your big sister on some of these. These are deep and exciting. What's one piece of advice you wish someone told you sooner about high school? I think I've answered this in a video before, but it's probably been a long time. I would say to just know that it's okay to be yourself. And I wish I would have known that in high school, that I didn't have to be like everybody else, that I didn't have to like the same things that everybody else liked. I definitely felt like I had a good amount of confidence in high school. I was confident in myself. I did soccer, I did track, I had a ton of friends from different friend groups. I felt like I got along with everyone really well, but I know that I had friends that felt like they liked certain things that maybe weren't cool, and so they felt like they couldn't be open about that, or things like that. Maybe things have changed since I've been in high school, because that was just so sad, 8 years ago. Oh my gosh, I feel so old. But I think that it's okay to be different, and it's okay to like different things, and there's a group for everybody. There's gonna be friends for everybody, if that makes sense. There's a friend out there for any kind of group or anything that you like. I'm sure there's other people that like that too, so it's okay to not be in the cool crowd, or whatever that even means anymore, honestly. Ooh, this is a hard one. This says, what do you do when you ask a boy to hang out and then he replies with yes right away, but then later says, let's see if anyone else can come too, and you assumed it was a date and I like him? What do I do? I feel like I have not been in the dating scene. I mean, I know I haven't for 5 years now, but if it were me 5 years ago, I probably would still go and maybe try and have a friend come and do a double. Who knows what he's thinking? Maybe he's nervous that doesn't want it to be a date too soon or whatever. I don't know. Who knows what goes on in guys' heads sometimes. This is a good one that I hadn't thought of, and I guess I think of Big Sister Q&A. This says, friendship advice, how to be a good friend, how to keep friends, how to make friends. Something that's super important to me throughout my whole life has been having friends, and having lots of different friends. I like to have a friend everywhere I go. I like to have a friend at the gym. I like to have a friend that will go to the beach with me and just do one-on-one time. I like to have a friend that I have kids the same age with. Maybe we're both married. It's just fun to have friends in every phase of life for me, and in every part of my life. I like to have friends at church, all that kind of stuff. I think the key to being a good friend is listening. I think it's everybody likes to be listened to. Everybody likes to be able to talk about themselves and have someone listen and like genuinely care. And I think that's something that I've learned over the years. No matter what situation I'm in, if I'm trying to make new friends, it's always easier if I'm the one asking questions to them and I'm just like listening to them talk about themselves. And I know sometimes that sounds so boring, but if you genuinely are interested in becoming friends with that person, then it shouldn't be boring, you know? Like, to me, I genuinely want to know about other people. I want to know about their life. I want to know about their siblings, their parents, you know, things like that. And so I think just asking questions and like really caring to listen. I also think that when you're trying to make friends, say you just moved somewhere new and you're trying to make new friends, I think it's super important to plan things and invite them. Don't always be hoping that you're gonna get invited to something else if you're not like planning things and inviting people to it. And it doesn't have to be like a big party, but I've just noticed like when I've moved somewhere new and tried to make friends, if I'm like going to the beach, I'll like text this new person that I like met and say like, hey, I'm headed to the beach, I'd love it if you want to come, if you're free, you know, instead of always like hoping that you're gonna be invited. Because I think people, especially at this age in my life, I'm like, I have my friends and I don't sometimes like think about that new person unless they've like also kind of made an effort, because I'm like just so busy with my kids and like all these other things going on in my life that I'm not like, oh, you know, if that makes sense. So I think sometimes it's good to also be the inviter, not just the invitee. Okay, this question says, do you know of people who don't shave down there at all except the bikini line? Just me? I am with you there. I don't shave that all the time. That would be so much work. I don't do that anymore. I used to do that, but just too much going on these days. But I think I might have talked about this in one of the last YouTubes I did, but I have been using Connor's. Connor got this razor that is so nice. So I obviously shave the bikini line because I'm in swimsuits all day, but I've been using Connor's razor. Let me ask him really fast what it's called. It's called the Manscaped razor. Connor got this, but I use it all the time. It basically gives you like a really close razor, if that makes sense, but it doesn't give you bumps because it's not like actually shaving. So that's super nice option if you want to just like tidy up but not like have to actually shave the whole thing. I'm worried I may never find my person. Any advice? How do you deal with the what if? How did you deal with the what if? I met Connor when I was pretty young, like 19 actually. So I didn't feel like I like felt that much because I was still kind of early on in dating. But I definitely like have friends that aren't married yet, and I can only imagine it'd be hard if you like expected yourself to be married by then and you're not. But I know that everybody has like a different timeline of life, and you just, if you're faith-based like I am, with anything in my life just have to trust that like God knows when the timing is best for me, and that if I'm doing everything in my power, then he'll make up the rest and he'll have it work the way that it's supposed to work for me and what's gonna be best for me. I would just say make sure that you're doing everything you can to like put your best foot forward, and that's like in anything in life, like taking care of yourself, and make sure that you're like mentally and physically feeling good, if that makes sense. Like make sure that you're attracting the kind of people that you would want to attract because you're so confident in yourself, if that makes sense. And yeah, the time will come. Hang in there. Are you ever on birth control? If so, tips for coming off of it. I just have only been on the IUD, and that was before I had crew. After that, in between crew and banks, I wasn't on anything. I just did condoms, and then now I'm also not on anything. And speaking of the devil, my period just came back, so that's fun. But I have heard that like you want to get off of it a few months before you start trying to get pregnant, but honestly I'm not a doctor, so I have no idea. But I've just heard that like it will help regulate out the hormones and things like that. So yeah, I just don't like extra hormones in my body. I feel like I'm already maybe hormonal enough. Actually, not even maybe, I just know I'm already hormonal enough. So I don't want like anything extra. I just want to like 100% be me. But it is so hard, especially if you don't want to do like another form of birth control and you don't want to get pregnant. So yeah. Ooh, this one just hits right now because this is something that we're really struggling with. This is any issues with Crew being too rough with Banks? How do you handle it? My 2-year-old is so rough. Yeah, that is us right now. Crew is just, I've learned so much in this book that I'm reading that he's a type 3 child, which means that his movement is just so forward and so like determined and like forceful and can come off as aggressive. And I know that he's not trying to be mean, but like he is rough, and I think it's because that's just, he's rough with us, he's rough with his toys, he's rough with like everything, other kids that he plays with. He has been since he honestly was like a kid, like a baby. He's just, his first picture coming out of the womb was like this on Connor. Like he's just like determined and active and hard moving sometimes, and I don't know what to do. It's such a hard thing because how do you don't want to like have them change their nature, and I don't want to force him to change his nature and make him feel like he needs to be different from me than he is, but I also know that I need to teach him to be gentle with Banks because he is young. I think it's also hard because Banks just started crawling, and so Crew in his eyes probably feels like Banks is older and like can play and like roughhouse around now. We've just tried to like teach Crew obviously that Banks is younger and that he's a baby, and try and like show him the consequence of his actions. So like anytime that he's rough with Banks and it makes him cry, we try and set Crew down and be like, see how Banks is crying? Like why do you think he's crying? How could you help him not cry next time? Like how could we be a little bit softer with that activity that we're playing or whatever? So good luck. We're in the thick of it too. Advice on loving your body, how it is, struggling with this. I don't know if I know one girl out there that hasn't had like hasn't at one point struggled with like their body image, and I definitely have had my fair share. Especially I think the hardest part for me was like after I had kids and my body changed and I felt like I wasn't maybe the same person that I used to be. Such a good question. I don't know if I have all the advice in the world. I'm still definitely like working through that. I'm 6 months postpartum and I feel like I should be further along than like I am with my, I don't know, I hate the term getting your body back, but like essentially it is that, like with getting back to like how I want to look. Just a few things that come to mind. You are like yourself. Like it's only you and your body. There's no one else in your body. There's no one else in charge of your body. There's no one else in charge of how you feel about your body than yourself. And so if you're feeling down about your body, that is on yourself. And the only person that's gonna turn that around is you. It's not gonna be other people giving you validation about your body. That's not gonna turn around the way that you feel about yourself. It really comes from within. And so for me, I really, when I'm feeling down about my body, I really focus on gaining my self-confidence in other ways. So I focus on becoming a better person in some aspect of my life, whether that's being more patient or being healthier in the way I'm eating, or reading my scriptures more often, getting better sleep, like just better in some way that will help me feel better about myself, if that makes sense. And I also think that if you really want to attain something, and I hesitate to even say this because I know there's so many outside sources and so many things that can like stop you from reaching those goals that you have about your body, but I think if it's a realistic goal, like to exercise 30 minutes a day and to stick to like a healthy eating regimen, I don't think it needs to be so strict, but I think having some sort of a goal for yourself and your health is so important. And when you reach those little goals that you've set for yourself, that like can build your confidence. Not to get all spiritual, but I also, something that always puts it into perspective to me when I'm having a hard time with like body issues is that I believe that God created our bodies, and so if he created this body that I have, I don't want to like be ungrateful for it or feel like it's not enough, because he created it and everything that he creates is perfect. And so I try really hard to put that into perspective when I'm feeling down about myself, is God wouldn't want me to feel down about something that he created that's kind of almost like offensive to him, because he created it and he created it exactly the way he wanted to. And so anyways, I hope that helps put it into perspective. This one says, I feel like I'm behind because I've never had a boyfriend before. I'm 19. Girl, don't feel like you're behind. I didn't have a boyfriend until I was like, I think 18 and a half. It's totally fine. You don't have to have a boyfriend. It doesn't define your self-worth or anything. I honestly loved not having a boyfriend until I was that old because I loved being able to hang out with different people, go on so many different dates, hang out with like any group and not feel like I was restricted because I had a boyfriend. It's fun. So I would say live it up because you're not always going to be single. Like, you're gonna be tied down at some point, and so might as well make the most of it while you are. Laser hair removal thoughts. I'm actually considering getting laser hair removal this year. I just need to like actually sit down and look into it and figure out where I want to go. But I'm thinking of doing my armpits and then like bikini line. I'll let you know what I figure out, and if I go, I'll definitely vlog it. Tell me if you think that would be interesting. I won't vlog everything, but like I'll tell you my experience and all that stuff. This is crazy. There are 2 questions back to back, so I'm gonna end on this one, have this be the last one. But 2 questions back to back that were kind of similar, so I'll read them both. This says advice for when you're in the season of waiting / wishing to be in the next stage of life. And the other one was advice on the time of singleness / waiting for the dream of marriage / motherhood. That is such a hard, good question. I think you're always kind of in a phase of like waiting for the next phase. I think just as humans, we always tend to like look ahead to what is in the future and wish we had it. And it's such a silly thing, right? Because it's so funny. When I was single, I also was so excited to get married, and then when I was married, I was so excited to have kids and become a mom. And now that I'm here, I love the fact of, I love being a mom. I love it so much. It's like, I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't go back in time and do it later or anything like that. But it is funny because now that I'm here, I'm looking back at those phases of like, when I was single or when I was just married, just Connor and I, and how fun that was and how much freedom I had. And not like that I would ever go back, but it's just funny how you reflect on those times once you're here. And I'm also reflecting on the times when my kids are moving out of the house, so I'm looking forward to the future already and saying like, whoa, that's gonna be so different and crazy. And so, and it like literally makes me tear up already. Wow. Literally makes me tear up already thinking about them leaving the house and me being alone. Oh, breaks my heart in a million pieces. But so I think that really like you're always gonna want what's ahead or want what's behind you, but if you can really try and just focus on that time that you're in, it'll make it so much sweeter because that time isn't gonna last forever. And that phase of life isn't forever. I think it's also a good thing to remember when you're in a hard phase of life, if you're waiting to get pregnant or if you're waiting to get married or waiting for an illness to pass or honestly whatever, is that phases of life isn't gonna be forever. And I know I've thought that a lot in hard times in my life. I personally didn't love being pregnant. It was so hard for my body and like I just didn't love that part of it, but I love having the babies. And so for me, like I would always think that phase of life isn't gonna last forever and I need to just try and make the most of it while I'm in it because sooner than you think you're gonna be out of it. So guys, thanks for the questions. That was so fun. Let me know if you liked it, if you want to do another one. I always love chatting with you guys. Hope you have a good day.
Live it up, live it up, live it up, sweet emotion. Every time